Hey, this is Ray Gordon, owner of Appliance All Stars, and I was looking on YouTube and online trying to find, some videos of how about this issue that's been going on. So what I got here is a Frigidaire, a fridge door refrigerator, and I see a lot of these refrigerators, and what's happening it is ice maker. You get a call from the customer, ice maker's not producing ice. You get there and you open up and you see that, and they also hear that it might just be they hear loud banging noise. So you get there and you see the evaporator frozen over and it's not making ice. And then one other thing that is going on is you might hear they might call and say that it's not producing any water out the front also. And a lot of this stuff is tied to the pretty much the same issue. And you'll pull the refrigerator out and you will see the famous rust on the back of it. It's like a big. Sometimes I've seen ice form back there, big chunk of ice, and it's the rusted. Uh, and so I reached out to Frigidaire, because I looked online up, and they got some band-aids pretty much. They don't have no fix for it. They provide what you call some temporary relief. It's just like a foam insulation that they just stick to the back of your refrigerator, and that kit is like freaking $500. It's ridiculous. There's really no excuse, and it sucks because the customer, they're not trying to pay for that. Uh, refrigerator right here is only 6 years old, so what I've done is I found a little temporary solution since they only giving you a band-aid. So I found a more affordable band-aid. Uh, and I also used the kit that they provide. So we're gonna talk about that and we're gonna show you today in this video. Here we go. What I'm pointing at is two Phillips screws that you need to loose. Loose that Phillips screw, loose that Phillips screw. And this little front cover of the ice maker compartment, it just slides right on out. Pull that off to the side. You're gonna see a little Phillips quarter-inch Phillips, a quarter-inch nut right here. You use a nut driver to loose that ice maker harness cover. Take that screw out, and that just slides down and slide on out. All right. Now you're gonna see two connectors for the ice maker. You can use two hands, but I'm trying to use one because I'm trying to hold the camera steady. Just loose those connectors, just like a little push button on those harness connectors. Just loose those, and it pops right on out. Now I'm gonna slow the video down because I lost some video. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab the hold of the ice maker and pull it towards you. It just held in by some clips. Just pull it towards you. The harness to the right on yours might still be secured with two little zip ties. You're gonna take a little knife or some side cutters and cut those zip ties. You'll see what I'm talking about, so that ice maker comes out. Again, I lost some video. But there's on this ice bucket, there's two little quarter-inch heads. You're gonna loose those two and then one right there to the side. And the bucket's gonna slide right on out. You're gonna pull that harness out that hole right there. You see the hole. Just slide the harness out of there and just pull that bucket out and sit to the side. Right here, with your auger assembly, this got to come off. There's a quarter-inch a nut driver you need to pull that nut out. I mean that screw out at the top and one here at the bottom. There's also going to be one, once you get those two loose, there's going to be one up to the top left. Make sure when you're taking it out, make sure you got your other hand holding that because that will fall on you. Mine's lucky and it's frozen. So just keep a hand on that, but don't pull it out too far because there's a harness back there that's connected. I leave that connected because what I'm going to do here is test the defrost. I'm going to plug everything back in, connect all my harnesses back together, and I'm going to grab my ice maker, just sit it on the shelf somewhere, and I'm going to connect that ice maker back together also. So what I'm going to do now is plug the refrigerator back up, and I'm going to put it in defrost, the ice maker. I got the tech sheet. The tech sheet is usually under the front bottom kick plate. You pull that little plate off, and the tech sheet is in the top right corner. Just slide it on out on these Frigidaires. I'm speeding the video up, but you're gonna hold the up and down arrow down for 10 seconds. It got a lot faster because the video is sped up. And what you're gonna do is find the ice maker defrost heater. On this refrigerator, it's test 26. So you just hit the up arrow till you get to test 26. And if the defrost uh, thermostat is closed, it should automatically go into defrost. This one is. It says closed, meaning that it is closed. It should be closed because it's still frozen. That's why I didn't melt nothing yet. I just let it stay and I plugged everything back in. And I'm pointing to the ice maker defrost heater to show you it should automatically go into defrost. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna let it sit there for a little bit, and I'm opening it up and I'm gonna listen for that sizzle, see if I'm melting anything, and make sure that's working. Now that I know it's working, I just unconnected all these harnesses back, unplug the refrigerator, and now I'm just melting it. I'm speeding the process up with a steamer. You can use a hair dryer, but I use a steamer. Now that I got everything defrosted, I gotta pull this little foam cover off. You can pull it off the little drain hole, just push it up a little bit. It's not gonna hurt nothing, and you're gonna slide down. The mistake I made is I forgot to disconnect the harness first. So you gotta disconnect that harness off that little foam cover first. I use a little flat head screwdriver to push the little two sides in right there, and it just pulls on out. Just pull it on out, set it off to the side, and that just slides right on down and off. I'll take that over to the sink because right there at the bottom, it gets frozen. So it won't drain. Everything gets backed up. You get the rust in the bag, and that's where all the ice builds up. So I just melt some of the water out of there, let it drain out. And I think I'm here about to show you here that it's cleared out. Probably should have edited some of this out, but it's all good. Uh, you should see it cleaned out, everything cleared out. And now that little drain hole, before we get to that drain hole, I think I'm gonna point to this evaporator coil. Yeah, it gets frozen. That's why that rust behind the refrigerator, it just builds up and builds up. It was just poor installation, if you ask me, in the design. I don't know what the engineers was thinking. They didn't think this one all the way through. But anyway, that's a different story. What I do now for the drain hole, you got to make sure you clean that out too, because it gets frozen. You don't want to do all this work for nothing. So I used to take my steamer again because it's real easy. Put my spout on. You can use a turkey baster or a hair dryer, but it's gonna take a long time. When I say this steamer works magic, this steamer had this thing cleared out in a couple seconds. So I run the steamer on there, and I'm listening for that what I call the toilet flush. You will hear, you will let's do it. Next thing you know, you'll hear the thing just drain out. Once I know I got it cleared out, what I do is I pull the evaporator off just a little bit. You ain't gonna hurt it, so I can get my hand around there. And I usually use a cup. You can use a turkey baster, but I pour some hot water down there, and I'm listening. What I'm listening for is to see if it's going all the way down to the bottom, and to make sure it's draining all the way down. You will hear it going flowing down to the bottom of the refrigerator. And that's pretty much it. Now we'll just start with the upgrade kit. All right, here we go. So this is the upgrade kit. I'm gonna put a part number in the description, but pretty much it comes with the directions. It comes with all the pieces that you need, just some foam pieces and a little plastic piece and some foil tape. The pieces to upgrade your ice maker. So pretty much you take your little evaporator cover that we already have out. I pretty much took all the old foam pieces out. I lost some video, so that's why you don't see it. But you take the strip. It's two little skinny strips. One is a little shorter than the other. That's why I'm measuring it right here. So I put the long one on the bottom and the short one up top. And then with the two arrows pointing at right now, there's another little short piece that you install right there. It's just some peel the tape off and just stick it on like you see right here in the video. I just stick it on. On the bottom now, make sure that long one, make sure it folds over. I'm just showing, you'll see here in a second. Make sure it folds over like that at the bottom. And then you take this this piece right here and just stick it on there. Same way. Peel it back and out just like that. Just stick it up, make sure it goes around the little drain loop just like that. See, now you got to add this little plastic, I guess they call it deflector, the little water deflector. There's a little groove right in there. Check that groove. So it sits just like this. Just look how I'm trying to show you real good, but pretty much you sit, so it sits up in that groove. But you're gonna push the little plastic piece around so it clicks in place. That's what I'm doing right here. pushing it in so it clicks in place. All right. You see that? I'm trying to show you. I hope y'all can see that. It's pretty much lifted up like that so it clips in place. Then you take a little foil piece and you're going to make sure half of the lip is in the front, and then you're going to fold the rest of it over and just tape it down. So all you're going to do is peel the backing off and just tape it down like you see right here in this one. Down in there. All right. Now you take the auger assembly. The auger assembly, I'm just gonna pull these old foam pieces that's just worn out. I'm gonna put them out. I'm gonna take the same matching pieces and I'm gonna peel them off and stick them right in there. That's what you see me doing right here, just peeling off. I use a flat tip to clean it up, but for filming purposes, I just kind of sped through this. But there you go. Put the new pieces in there. I wrap that one around up top. All right. Now you can sit your auger. Oh yeah, on the back of the auger, there's two little styrofoam pieces right there. One got a little piece that you can peel off, so you can sit around that little hump right there, as you saw. And this one just kind of sits in there. All right. Now you can sit that aside. Now in the whole bucket, the back of the bucket, I'm just gonna peel those old pieces off and stick these new ones and the long skinny one around that. So that one comes off and that one comes off. And this is how it looks. When it's off, I can clean it up with you can clean it up with a flat tip or a scraper, however you want, and then you stick the new ones on like that. Now up top, that's one all wore down. They got a piece, you just peel the old one off. And after you peel it off, make sure there's a little rubber, you're going to see here in the video, rubber piece right there. Make sure that rubber piece stays in there. Put the rubber piece in, take that, knock the little hole out in the middle of that piece, peel them off, and stick that one up top too. Just like this. I had to peel that blue tape back just so I can, I stick the back on top of it so I can let it fit evenly. All right. Now let's put it back together. I take the little evaporator cover housing. I just slide it back in there. What you're trying to do is make sure the little bottom drain of that piece goes into that hole at the bottom. You work your harnesses around, try to get your harnesses back in there. But your goal is to push that in there so it can go right in that hole, right there where I'm pointing at. And once you get the harnesses in, make sure you just click it. You're gonna click it back in place, like I'm doing right here. It's hard to do it with one hand in the camera. But now let's put our auger assembly back in. Don't just push it back in there. There's a harness back there. So take that harness and make sure you plug it in. I can't do it because I need two hands. So I'm just gonna point to it. So you can plug that back in and make sure it clicks now. And then you're going to put your screws back in, the one up top, the 3 screws that I was pointing to. Put the 3 screws back in to hold it in place. And now you're putting the bucket back in. I usually grab the harness and throw it back in the bucket so I can lift the bucket. And this harness up top, I'm just going to push it back down in the hole right there. As you can see, that hole right there. I'm going to grab the harness up there and I'm just going to sit it back in there. Lift the bucket, put the 2 screws back in up top, 1, 2, and then put the screw back in on the side. Now you got everything. Let's go ahead and put the ice maker back in. The long harness coming from the auger assembly, I just make sure I put it on top of the ice maker like that, and I just slide it back in. You got to slide it in and push it. You're gonna hear it click. You'll feel it. You got to play with it a little bit, but once you get it in, you'll hear it click. All it does is slide in place. Now you connect your harnesses back to your ice maker. Connect the 2 harnesses back together. Take the harness cover, push it back in there. Like I'm doing right here. You're going to lift it up. You see a little groove? Make sure you push that back in the groove. Take your little screw, put it back in there, right where the hole is at, so you can secure that in place. All right, now you take the cover here. Everything is secure. Take the little cover. There's a little groove right there, as you can see. So what I do is I push it down. I come like right halfway down right here, and I slide it up. Once you slide it up, then I line my hose up, and I put my Phillips head screws back in. Like that. I don't put my ice bucket back in yet, I just closed the door because we're gonna test the ice maker before we finish. So now let's go out in the back and just attack this rust. So what I do is a lot of times it's frozen. So I usually take my steamer and I melt all the water lines. I add some heat to that water line, try to thaw those out. It used to be a chunk of ice back there. I take the steamer and melt all the ice, and like I'm doing right here. And then I get a little napkin or something and dry it, a towel or something, and dry it off. You can use a heat blow dryer or what, but I use my steamer and I dry it off. So pretty much, Frigidaire, they pretty much sell that $500 piece. What I'm pointing to right now, there used to be a clip right there. So I took the clip out and I put some zip ties to get those hoses off that back wall because it was freezing right up there and the water line was freezing up. So instead of me having it up against that wall, I just took that clip out of that hole up there and I zip tied it. So pretty much Frigidaire has like I was saying, they have a $500 piece. And it just seems like it's just a big old foam insulated pad that we call it a blanket. And they just take this backing tape off and just stick it to the back of your refrigerator and then cut the hose through it so all your water lines can go through them. To me, I'm just like, that's a Band-Aid. That ain't really doing nothing. Call me a liar, but I just feel like it's a Band-Aid. So when I went to Lowe's and just got some window seal, and I'm just gonna since they Band-Aiding, I'm just gonna add a cheaper Band-Aid. That thing costs about $7 at Lowe's. It's like a little 10-foot piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a horror. I'm just showing you what it looks like right here. It's just a little 10-foot roll, and I'm just gonna make some. You can do a horizontal or vertical. I'm just gonna do just like I did. I did mine's vertical. I'm gonna put some all along the sides of it to cover all that rust with an ice maker, just like that. And that's what I did. That's what I typically do, and I don't get callbacks for that. You can always go all the way down to the bottom right there, because that's where the copper line runs up. You can always go down. Like I said, that's just one pack right there, what you saw, $7. They charging $500 for a blanket. $7. You can put that right there, and I could take another $7 and just do the other one. You can do how much you want. You can put 4 back, get 4 for 24. 7 times 4 is 28. But anyways, everything's done back there. Now I'm about to test the ice maker. What I do is plug everything back in, and then to get back an ice maker test, you hit the top 2 buttons, left and right top buttons, and hold it down for like 10 seconds. It's gonna go into the ice maker test. 52 shows you the temperature of what's inside, the thermistor's reading. You can follow this, and it tells you can turn the evaporator fan on. You can rotate the ice maker. You can turn the water valve on. So what I'm about to do here is on test 63, I just want to see my ice maker and make sure my ice maker is working again. 2 is ready. Once you hit set, it's going to rotate the ice maker. And as you can see, my ice maker is rotating. That's a good sign. Everything was just frozen up earlier, but now everything is working. That 2 gonna go to 1. It's gonna tell me that my ice maker's the cycle. That was a good test. Here we go, good test. Next thing I do is I'll check the evaporator fan, make sure, because it was frozen up earlier. I turn the fan on and make sure my fan is running. So I think that's test. So here we go, 57. See, it's off. I hit set to turn it on. I go inside. I'm pretty much listening and see if my fan is running, and I can hear my fan running. That's a good sign. I turn it back off, and then now I run my valve to fill my modes up. I just hit set. You don't gotta turn it off. It'll stop by itself. I hit set and it fill it up, and then it'll stop by itself. And that's when I know I'm good. I put my ice bucket back in. And to exit out this ice maker test, you just hold, I think it's the fresh food side. You hold a positive up for about 5 seconds. And that's what I'm going to do right here. 2, 3, 4, 5. It should cut off. It did. And I'm back. I'm back in normal. I'm back in regular mode. Everything is good. This job is complete. So basically, instead of paying $500-$600 to fix that, with a Band-Aid, you could just spend that kit. It's like the ice maker kit was like $24, something like that. And that weather strip was like $7. I hope this helped you all out. I hope it don't cause any more headaches. I hope Frigidaire engineers watch this video, and when they come up with the next design, make sure they address this issue. That's all I ask. Appreciate y'all. This has been a good training video from Appliance All Stars. My name is Ray Gordon, owner of Appliance All Stars. If you're in the Atlanta area, need some appliance repair, don't hesitate to give us a call. Thank you.